Anyway, it's running. Let's get our links up. Got some very, very bad bot commands. And the first to be tested is you, man. Don't ban me. And we have a good thing. We can laugh. And seem like even like that. Okay, so something like that could you can check. All right, you can that can be a greeting, for instance, or even just maybe you wanna make a bot that laughs at jokes or you know are curious about specific things that happen. It can pick stuff out, and those can be. Let's get back in here. Those can be used here as a. Or if you're in the chat lurking, by the way, do not click on any of those links I'm posting. They're bad links from bots that weren't detected by other bots to remove them. So I'm working on them. Click on them and yeah, be your bad, man. So yeah, like I was saying here, if we want to catch that LOL, we can catch it and process it here. Now there's no way to do it now, right? I'd have to come in here and create a brand new if else statement, extend this, and add those conditions like funnies, or let's just say we want to call it funnies. So if I want to add funnies to this list, so my bot can respond to funnies, I have to restructure. Now, the light bulb that went off earlier when I was talking about the restructuring was that this need not even be a structure, because if again if we look at it, then we see that it's all using the same data basically. Okay, and it's just matching against different commands. The only difference is how it matches against those commands. Right now, start with um, if you really want to get a command through, and there's no reason to try to hide it, so it doesn't have to start with. Start with, it can process it without having to quote unquote start with. Right now, that's the only other condition that's here. So in anything matched, we check for match. If the statement does not equal null, then we get out of the loop. And so adding something like funnies would be as trivial for a programmer as adding another collection. No more restructuring of code. Removing, let's say, oh, okay, this is a conference room. We know that no one will ever be spamming this room or something like that. There's no need for spam filters. So just that collection just does not have to be added or requested. So restructuring this to be a loop to accept any kind of filter. Because is the spam filter is a command filter. There are filters, the greeting filter, the funnies filter. So we're gonna pull this thing out, wrap it up, check for our statement being null, and that's going to be our condition for continuing. right? So once it matches the statement, it's no longer null. Something happened, and then it's already too late for us to even do anything here. But just check more statements because the method's already been invoked and everything's taken care of. So I think that's the ideal way to go. Now, where to get started is we create. See, these are all the same. There's absolutely no reason to be doing this. Okay, so let's find where we create all of our. So this is where we create all our commands, including, as we just recently did, added the spam to the same structure that we're trying to fix. So it's all here. It checks itself. See, these all check. So this is a start with this notation in the regular expression is this notation. So I have a redundant check here, right? That's all more for the case for doing what I think would be nicer. Look, I mean, we would need only one entrance and one exit. You list them by priority. Okay, let's get to that piece. So we have one dictionary of statement checks. Then here to this dictionary of statement checks, we say that equals a new dictionary keep here. And this one that add range. Do you get to add a range? You cannot add a range. So you can only add key pairs. What does a constructor provide? Capacity of iComparer. It's not taking anything. What is it gonna compare? iComparer implements to use when comparing keys. Ah, that's cool. Never been this deep in a dictionary. It's grab and go. Okay, so we could pass in another dictionary. Capacity and the comparer, another dictionary and its comparer, and that's it. So we need a loop, or we need to pull all of these things out, and then maybe you can just give them like a type. See, I don't want to type anything because types become quickly obsolete. You know, there's no extending that type of system like enumerations. Once they're built into the code, you can't add to it, and that'll absolutely defeat everything that we're doing here. So enumeration, okay, I've done that once. We can use the system enum and then convert it to your specific enumeration when it comes back out, and that'll grant you a type check. So that might maybe an option in the future. But first of all, since we can't add them collectively, we're going to add them as such, and we're going to indicate add checks. So by priority. Priority. See anything misspelled? Post it in the chat. I hate to put code on the internet. Bad spelling. So help me out here. Okay, so that's our first check, and we'll call this spam, and this one can be called greetings. Actually, I want to check for the. Okay, we're gonna be nice. We're gonna do greeting checks first. We're gonna turn our bot into a human. Greetings. And actually, after we set this one up, then we'll add in the funnies. Probably not gonna keep it, but you know, add that in. Okay, so next we have commands, and can just grab those. Make sure we have a line ending. Okay. 1, 2, 3 is all we're gonna be checking against. So this nice little statement replaces this. Right? So that's step 1. Comment those out. Let the compiler help me again to find everywhere I need to replace them. Take our statement check and run to the red. Now here we have this. So for each loop, for each is fine as for each iterator and the I want it all. The for each iterator and the for loop, they work the same but kind of different. In a for each iterator, you cannot modify the item. You can only read from it. It's read only. When you're using the for, like for I equals 1 to length, you can modify the value. I mean, if it's a value that's possible, you know, to modify, you can modify it in the regular for loop, which you cannot modify values being passed in the for each iterator. It's read only. Okay, so we have our statement. Let's run our checks. Let's do statement check. Stop being lazy. I can't type. That's why I am always lazy at putting in all these long words. Okay, so we have our statement checks. Statement check. So if the statement check does not equal null, then we break. I mean, something's happened. It's filtered something out. Okay, so that's step 1 in this method. And what are we going to be matching against? So we can pull this out and tell it what to match against. We're going to be matching against the complete statement check, what was passed in, and we're going to get its key. What do we need? Is the key matching? Oh, we need the entire thing. Oh, so we're done here. Huh. Hang on. The loop is unnecessary. That's done. Remove that. I know the links work. That's gone. And this is yeah, so hope no one's disappointed, but we're down to one line here. And actually it feels good. Let's see if it works. Then I press play or save. Alright, let's run a play. Start it up. Warlock's in the room. I'm gonna say jump. Warlock says nothing. I laugh. Warlock says nothing. I say hi. There's an answer. Sweet. Now let me get the state of the game. All right, awesome. That's a move command. Space, no good. Okay. Move 11, doesn't work. Move 1, maybe we need a new game. Call in a new game. Oh, maybe I have to register. Play me. Alright, sweet. So those moves are working. So now for the link, paste that nasty little thing in, and it's checked. So everything works as expected with the change we just made. So we're able to remove quite a bit of code. So we reduced our multiple checks. We had this loop running twice, one for each check on the command and on the greeting. Then we brought it in the class and just have the class check against everything that's passed in. Then for visual A we still have, wow, okay, then we removed all these checks against the spams, then the commands, then the greetings, and just have it check against all the statement checks that we want to check against. Okay, that in turn is shown by replacing the setting of these dictionaries to the setting of this dictionary with this statement as to, you know, where to check for. And this very important notice that the checks are add them by priority. It won't check for a link and it will back out if this command was sent in first. So a bot can come in, type in command play TTT with this link, and it will never be detected because it would. So they need to be, at least for now, by priority. Optionally, we can add something. For instance, like the dictionary could be a dictionary of the keys, which I like. That has to stay as such, and some specific class, not a class of message data, but a class of, you know, statement data, which will contain priority. I mean, a class of an action of message data, but that will be a field or a local instance of the action, and can also have, for instance, a field, which can be the priority. So they can be added in any sequence, and they can be sorted by priority and ran as such. So now let's add a check for that LOL. So if statement starts the line and ends the line with an LOL, we're going to create our own funky little command right here, and it's going to inline this thing. So I need an action that takes the message data from the form. And might let me use a lambda. Action message data from the form, and what's going to happen when that happens, we're going to send a message. Ooh, it's going to be scary. Client, connect client dot send message. Oh, don't need that because we're inlining this thing. What we do need, however, is what message you're going to be sending. Let me make sure everything's looking smooth. Okay, so we're going to be sending a message from the, so how is, it's a simple test, how is plus message data dot said plus funny. So of course the bot has no clue of why everyone's laughing, and it would like to know that. So now let's execute. So we just added a new command. Now this could have come in from anywhere, or it can be added by the developer. I'll fix that. The match is no. It could have been added at any time, and it can just be added to the list of things to do. Right? Okay, so let me see why we have an error. It says match is null. Okay. If match success or didn't, what? This has never happened before. This regular expression did not match. Actually, what happened? I didn't read the box. Let's go again. Come on, you gotta crash again. Yeah, see, I don't like that kind of stuff. I should have read that, and because I don't know what caused the error. And if I never get that error again, someone will. You know, and that's bad. It said the match was null. And when it was reading, I checked the message. That's the response that Twitch sends back when you connect for the first time. So when I sent this message through, this is the second connection. So the first one went through. Okay, so something happened here. The first message went through. When I checked, maybe they ran into each other. What I mean by this is this messages that are received are being received on a background thread. So possible race condition, any of the above, and the latter I'm not too good at. So that stuff has to be figured out. Okay, so let's check our LOL. What is that I just posted? Didn't care. See? How is LOL funny? LOOM. Not a command. Would never check that. State is a command. We should get a data back. It's clearly been returned. So adding functionality this way is better to have one statement and the checks can be done elsewhere. The conditions can be set elsewhere. They don't need to be set on a per case basis. And that ruins the code, in my opinion, and it keeps it from being dynamic and modular and reusable. So now when we receive a message from the chat, we process it like this. You know, this one is no longer even necessary. We can just declare a new match and then send it on its way. Speaking of which, now this can probably just be a static class. Well, it can't be static because yeah, it can, because getting the other stuff can be static also. When we change it over. So if it's static, and we send in the match, we send in the first match, send in the pairs to match against. That's never used. That's just used to grab the groupings up here. Yeah, static is a bad idea. As each one that comes in, there's never a chance for two messages to be coming in at the same time, unless that was the problem earlier. But if there isn't, then it can be static, because it's used, sent down, processed, and sent on its way. Now when it's converted here, so if we static might not be a good idea because of this. Again, this makes it extensible. Yeah, we have a regular message data that comes in and it parses and it checks. It can check anything and then invoke whatever it needs to invoke. Secondly, if it is a command and this invocation was sent to a special method, which this is, it is a special method for commands, for this command, and is decided here. Right, so when it receives one, it says, oh man, you know, it's a command. It can take the message data, pass it in, and create a command data out of it, where it can easily grab the command and the argument for now, which is nothing stopping me from creating arguments later. Just need to create a way to map the arguments, like a structure. You know, for instance, play me space whatever, or commas to separate. That way you can have string arguments. It contains spaces and the like. Yeah, but this is working. So that's part way to cleaning up the code. So I take this massive piece of junk out. This is just level stuff. Not required for the processing of any of these things. Take that out of there. We've already removed the one from before. So greet list. Let's see where that's being used. Okay, so that's passed directly into here. Then joined up to create my greetings list. Think you can pass anything in. Oh, let's ask, hey. So we're gonna say, hey Nick. That's the comma, how is LOL funny? So, yeah, we're using LOL for now. So, said. So what they're setting in there, I'm going to turn this into a formatted string. Oh man. I am not going to turn it into a formatted string. I am going to pass in what I want. So Nick said, and then I'm going to go to my send message. Sweet. So this, I'm going to make the send message be able to send a message, take a message, but also a parameter list. Now, there's two ways of doing this: creating a new function or adding optional function argument to the list. I'm not sure which one to use yet because there's a parameter array. So params of what are we passing in? No, for string printing, it can be anything. So if we string format, then we can make it anything. So, and it would output the toString method. It will call the toString method on whatever object that's passed in. So there can be we can make them objects. Like, I think that's what's used. And so we can do that, and it shouldn't change over here. It shouldn't create any errors. It should still send that message, and no red anywhere. So the functionality hasn't changed. But of course, we're not using it. So then, if we send in the format, if there is no args, what's gonna happen? There's only one way to find out. Let's see how this can be called right away. LOL as the perfect test. So do it twice. We'll send it in formatted and not formatted. Or excuse me, maybe it's time for a cup of coffee. So string format the message with the args. Okay, and it's done. So if there are args, the string format and all that would automatically check against. Hey, calendar creation. How is LOL funny? Okay.